Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Profitable Mindset Podcast.
Welcome to the Profitable Mindset, a show dedicated to teaching you the skills you need to build a profitable product-based business that makes you feel free and fully in control. Here is your host, Charlotte Smith.
Hey, you guys, welcome back to episode 5. This is where I'm going to wrap up all of the 25 steps of how to start and set up your farm business. So many of you have been messaging me and commenting that this is exactly what you needed right now. Some of you are brand new and some of you have been filling the gaps. And one lady said she's been farming for 20 years and wish she would have had this 20 years ago, but better late than never. I'm really so happy to be able to share it with you all now. Now, be sure if you're a newer farmer to listen in to the whole series, which includes episodes 1 through 5. Also, get the complete checklist of the 25 steps at 3cowmarketing.com/25 steps. And I'll link up to that in the show notes as well. I've got a few things to share with you today before I get started on the last 4 steps. And the first thing is I want to spotlight another listener with their review. J. Smith Jr. in Vermont said, Charlotte provides a wealth of actionable resources that anyone can apply. Her ability to connect with her audience, no matter where they are in their business journey, is truly remarkable. Sit back and absorb what she has to offer. Don't overthink it. Just follow the plan that she lays out for you step by step. So thank you so much, Jay Smith Jr. in Vermont. This was really cool that you shared this. I appreciate everyone's comments. It really helps me to know I'm on track with all these topics that I'm coming up with. So thanks for that. And I also want to remind everyone that the first 6 weeks of a podcast are crucial for reviews so that iTunes algorithms know that I have something important to share with farmers and then actually shows my podcast to them. Therefore, in order to encourage you to leave that review, I've got a contest going where every week for the first 6 weeks, you'll have a chance to enter a drawing, and the winner will receive from me either a website or a social media account review if you don't have a website. I'll be giving you feedback to increase your customers and your sales. And to enter that drawing, you'll find all the instructions at 3cowmarketing.com/iTunes. And everything I mentioned is linked up in the show notes there along with that too. This week, also, we drew our first name, and I've already emailed her, and I'm excited to get started with her website review, and that is Jen. So I'll be reaching out to her soon. The other thing I wanted to share is just a little bit about something very exciting that's going on in our household this week. My son has been off serving our country in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years. As soon as he graduated high school, he left. And he's being released back into civilian life on May 24th. So at 7:30 a.m., which is about a week after this podcast airs, he will get his discharge papers and he's going to jump in his pickup with his motorcycle and he'll head back home. I, as you can imagine, am over the moon excited to have him back. I'm really proud of him. I knew you'd be interested in this because you might know there's a lot of overlap between farming and the military. So many of us farmers send our kids off to the military, and then a lot of veterans enter into a career of farming after their service. Well, I'm really grateful to my son, and I'm really grateful to all of you listening who have served our country. I never understood the sacrifices you make until our family and my son experienced this. So thank you very much. With that, let's wrap up the 25 steps to start and set up your farm business. I'm picking back up on step 21, which is to set up your home office. You probably have somewhere that you're already working, like a kitchen table or maybe an extra bedroom or a desk somewhere. For a long time, I used the dining room table as my office, which was messy. Then I moved it into my bedroom, and I didn't know how stressful it is to have your office set up in your bedroom until I moved it out of my bedroom and realized how much easier it was to sleep. So you might want to take note of that. Now I'm at that age in life where 2 of my 3 kids have moved out. So I've taken over a spare bedroom as my office. And I love having it devoted just to everything to do with our farm and marketing. But I have some essential online tools I really couldn't live without. I use these to organize my business, and they're all free. So I want to offer them to you too. The first one I've talked about before, and that's Square. You go to squareup.com. That's our point of sale system to track sales. I love the weekly and monthly and yearly reports it gives me. It's a way that I can track what's working and what's not. Maybe what's our slowest day, or where we could pick things up, or what day we should close early. It's just great. It's great for tracking and building your business. I also love Google Drive. All of my photos for all my marketing, any documents and any spreadsheets I have, everything is stored on my Drive. It's free to use, and I love that I can access it anytime on my phone or my computer or a tablet. It's great. Google Drive. The next one is Planoly.com, Planoly.com. It's a free Instagram scheduler. So the free version allows me to load up 20 photos, and then I can look at all my next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks worth of Instagram posts together, and I can see how they fit. And like, if you've checked into my Instagram training, which is linked up in the show notes too, I talk about having themes and making sure your grid looks good together, all the photos together. Planoly allows me to do that. So again, give that a try. And then lastly, this one I absolutely can't live without. It's my project management software, and it's called Asana, ASANA.com. It's another free tool, and I can put all the projects in there that we're working on the farm or in my business or even in our household. And I can assign different projects to different people. Like we have our chicken butcher project, and my husband is assigned a lot of the tasks in there because he's the one who orders, he's the one who schedules the butcher appointment and all those things. So he will get email reminders when it's time to do that. My daughter got married on the farm, and we had her wedding planning in Asana right alongside. It's its own project, separate from maybe my farm's marketing, but it's right there. So I can open this tool and see all the projects I'm working on. But the best part, I think, is the email reminders I get that certain tasks are due. It keeps me on track. I love it. So be sure to check in to those free tools for your business. I could not live without any one of them. Okay, and step 22 is to create a bookkeeping system, and this can be manual or electronic. I use QuickBooks and Google Sheets mostly. You'll want to research your options, but from all the networking I do with farmers, I know that a lot of farmers use those 2 options, QuickBooks and a combination with Google Sheets. So figure out what'll work for you, but that's been great for us. I do my own payroll and bookkeeping and monthly tax payment. And then my accountant handles my quarterly and annual tax payments and prep. I just decided that it was not the highest and best use of my time to learn to do my own taxes. And my payroll is just 3 employees, so I've been managing to do it myself. However, I could see that if my payroll was 10 employees, perhaps, I would be on the edge of hiring a bookkeeper. So you really want to weigh what your options are there and figure out what's best for you. So your action step here is figure out a method to track your expenses and stick to that budget. Now we move on to step 23, which is to create a bare bones basic business plan. Now, when a lot of small business owners, not just farmers, hear the word business plan, they think of these overwhelmingly long and complicated business plans that we've all probably seen online and are really intimidated by. Well, that's not what I'm talking about. Remember, this is the 25 steps to start and set up. I want to get you set up for sustainability. So I want you to just do this bare bones exercise that I'm going to teach you. And what I find, the reason I started having farmers do this is I find a lot of farmers get into it wanting to make a certain amount of money. Like they want to replace their day job of $50,000 or $75,000 or $100,000. But they don't quite make the connection between that dollar figure they want to earn and the number of products they want to sell. So I have a few steps here that will help you do this, and it's going to really open your eyes as to what you need to focus on. So step one of your bare bones basic business plan, you're going to determine how much gross income you want to make in the next 12 months. I'm going to walk you through this too when I get done listing the steps. So tune in, keep on with me here. Step two is to make a list of your products and services you sell. And I would really love for you to focus on your signature product. It will make it easier to do it this way and more focused for sure. Step number three is put a price next to each product and service. What is the retail price you're going to sell it for? Step four, determine how many units of each product you can sell per month. And if it's a year-round product or a per-season product, that may change versus per month. And then step five is to do some basic calculations on how much of each you'd have to sell to reach your income projection. So now I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to walk you through creating a bare bones basic business plan selling pastured poultry. Now, you can easily listen to what I'm about to walk through and then just substitute your own product. If you're raising flowers or vegetables or beef or whatever it is you're raising instead of chickens, maybe it's raw milk, just substitute your product for the place and the numbers for your product too. So let's say it's chickens, and let's say that you want to replace your $50,000 a year day job. That's your goal on your farm. Well, I want you to figure that you're going to have to gross $100,000. That is pretty common that you're going to have to double your current salary on a farm. Just figure that. It may even be a little bit more, but let's start with that to keep the numbers even. So you're currently making $50,000. That means you're going to focus on $100,000 gross as your income on your pastured poultry farm. Now say the average sale price of your chicken is $28. So that means that works out to be 100,000 divided by 28 is 3,571 chickens you'll have to raise and sell, averaging $28 each, to make 100,000 gross. I'm going to round that up to 4,000. Now, the reason I'm rounding it up is you're going to have some death, some loss. You're going to eat some, and you're probably going to use some to give away as marketing every year. So let's just say that's 4,000 chickens you have to raise a year. Now, I'm going to base it on Oregon. We would raise chickens May through October. That means I have 6 months to sell 4,000 chickens. So 4,000 chickens divided by 6 works out to approximately 670 chickens a month. 670 chickens works out to be 155 chickens a week. Now, I don't want to be driving to the butcher each week on our farm because we don't process our own birds. We used to, but we haul them to a place 45 minutes away now. So instead of 155 chickens a week, I'm going to shoot for 300 chickens twice a month, or, that'd be like 330 twice a month. And that would be about 4 chicken tractors going at one time. Now, going to the butcher twice a month, 4 chicken tractors to move every day, that sounds more doable. All right. So I'm kind of giving you an idea of how you can figure out the amounts you're going to have to raise too. And this will give you an idea too of how many customers you have. Because on our farm, remember, I've been doing this 10 years. So I have a broad perspective that we average about 5 chickens per customer. So this idea that a customer is going to order 20 chickens For the most part, once you scale up, it's not going to be that many per person. So we average about 5 birds per customer, which means to make $100,000 a year gross, I need about 800 customers. Okay, so this is where I really love this exercise because it gives you that perspective of how many customers you need. You need 800 repeat customers, which you can totally do with all the skills that I talk about and I teach you in email marketing. It took me about 3 years to get to 800 repeat customers. So if you practice the email marketing that I teach, which is what works in today's world, you can figure it's going to take you 3 to 4 years with a learning curve to make 100,000 gross. So that will give you a very basic idea of about how long it's going to take you to replace that day job income. Now, you might be saying, well, this number's off and that number's off, and I can't sell my chickens for $28 each. We're not getting into specifics. We're getting general. We're being very general here because the mindset shift I want you to make is just approximately how long it could take you to become profitable. And someone asked me this week if I would do a whole podcast episode on about how long you can expect to be profitable. Well, this little exercise will give you an idea of that. So if this pastured chicken exercise right here, if that's what you're going to raise, figure 3 to 4 years. And consistently, the farmers I work with, that's what it ends up being for them. I just don't want you to make a mistake of thinking you're going to quit your day job and replace that complete income within a year or 2. I don't know that I have ever met a farmer who's replaced an income like that within a couple years, all right? Remember, I said only 2% of farmers make it to the 5-year mark. Well, this little bare bones basic business plan is one of the steps that will help you get there. It's going to help you think way more realistically than most people, which will help you build a more sustainable farm early on. So listen to that exercise again, plug in there whatever it is that you raise, whether it's vegetables or fruit or flowers or chicken, beef, pork, milk, eggs, anything like that, and figure out what your basic business plan is. And then moving on to step 24, I suggest and highly recommend when you start your farm that you figure out pretty soon how to offer farm tours and classes to build a customer base. The best way, really the only way we're going to be able to compete with Amazon or Whole Foods or Walmart or any food delivery service is to have a relationship with our customer. And a farm tour, I have found, again, in my 10 years of experience, a farm tour turns someone into a customer faster than anything else I can do. When they come out and they can pet a cat, believe it or not, just a cat, or they can pet a cow or have a pig, bump up against them, they become a customer for life. These are the kinds of experiences that keep people coming back and telling their friends about you. And I don't want you to be intimidated with this, thinking that you have to have a perfect farm to have a farm tour. I am not kidding you. People are hungry for ways to get on the farm. So if you have a few garden boxes and a chicken coop, by all means, you've got a farm tour, okay? So now I teach you how to do the complete farm tour and what to charge and all that in one of my courses. But you can just totally start with getting people out to your farm, give them a little tour, answer their questions. It's going to give you a great insight into what your ideal customer wants. And you're just going to connect with people in a way that makes them loyal customers. And then classes, once I gave a few farm tours, I felt more confident teaching classes because we sold raw milk and people were asking, well, how do I make butter and how do I make yogurt? So I would set up cheese classes, especially in the off season. And that built such a strong relationship with people too. So some ideas of classes that I have taught and also that some of our farm marketing students have taught: seed saving classes or seed starting classes, flower arranging classes, gardening classes, cheese classes, other home dairying classes like how to make butter and yogurt and ice cream, a chicken butchering class, even a how to cut up a whole chicken class. People would appreciate that. Bone broth or various other cooking classes, fermenting classes, canning and homesteading classes are very popular, and a how to milk a cow class. I learned early on that how to milk a cow was on a lot of people's bucket list. So I just put a price on it and turned it into a class. And I'd pull one of my cows into my stanchion and people would pay $100 each and they'd come out and get to learn how to milk a cow. And again, once they come to your farm and they watch you milk the cow and they get to try to squeeze milk out of the udder, they're not going to shop anywhere else. So plan these events, plan a farm tour and talk to your insurance agent, make sure you're covered, teach some classes when you get more confident. And these classes can be at your home or check with your local library. There's probably a place you can teach there. I have given classes in wineries and in restaurants and in stores where they've been closed on Sunday and they allowed me to teach a class in the store. So any way you can get out and connect with people will help you build a loyal customer base. That brings us to step 25, the final step in 25 steps to start and set up your farm business. That is to get testimonials. These will help you. They'll help people make the decision to buy. First of all, you want to make sure they're accurate testimonials. Don't just make things up. It's easy to get a testimonial. I'm going to give you some ideas of how to do that. Make sure you have the person's permission too. And permission could just mean that you have an email saved in which they gave you permission to print it with their name. Now, I've always just used first names, but you can certainly use first and last name too. And then I use these testimonials around my website. I sprinkle them through the products page. Like if someone has a testimonial about our chicken, well, that's going to go next to the chicken where chicken is sold. And so just make sure you're using them, of course, on social media and in your sales emails too. So you can use them all over the place. Now, you don't want just a general testimonial like, oh, it's the best grass-fed beef I've ever had. I mean, that's okay, but it's not going to really change someone into a buyer necessarily. What I want you to do is think of a few customers. Again, these are your ideal customers, and I want you to ask them a few questions. Question number 1, you're going to insert your product here. So you might say, what did you like about our farm fresh chicken? Or what did you like about your farm fresh bouquet you purchased last week? So insert your product there. Then ask, what did it mean to you to be able to buy chicken from our farm? Or what did it mean to you to be able to buy milk or eggs or flowers from our farm? That may sound similar to the first question, but you get a different response when you ask the two questions in the way I listed them there. Question number 3, how did you feel buying fresh chicken from our farm? Or how did you feel about buying your fresh vegetables from our farm? Again, it's going to elicit a little different response than the last question. And then one more question. If someone asked you why they should shop at our farm, what would you tell them? So there you have it. Those are 4 questions that when you ask them to someone in that way, you're going to get really high quality testimonials that you can sprinkle around your website. So what you'll do is you'll take the answers to those 4 questions and just formulate 1 or 2 sentences. You can combine things. And then even in an email to the person, just say, hey, I came up with this for your testimonial. What do you think? Because lots of times you don't want 4 really long, wordy sentences. So put the information together in a couple shorter sentences, get their approval, and use this information all over your website. So that's it, you guys. We just wrapped up the 25 steps to start your farm business. I know this is going to help you. It's just been amazing hearing everyone's response and how it's helped so many people so far. And lastly, before I wrap up, because my podcast is new, I'm still asking all of you to write a review on iTunes for me. And if you do write a review, you'll have a chance to win a drawing where I will audit your website or social media accounts and give you ideas on how you can improve upon and increase sales and followers. So if you want to enter that, just go to 3cowmarketing.com/iTunes. That page will walk you through a few steps you have to take to enter the drawing. And we've already chose our first person for the first week, and we've got 5 more to go. So I would love to work with you. So for sure, check in there. And like I said, if you want the whole 25 steps, that's also at 3cowmarketing.com/iTunes. I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. For more great resources, check out theprofitablемindset.com. See you next time.